enjoy the culture tonight. I think you know where I'm going. Yeah. Explore the city inside these walls of mine. Take you where you wanna be. 'Cause baby, only right here is guaranteed. I know what you really need.
Welcome. You are listening to the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak show. The Suspense Files, where we cover the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime. I'm your host, Sister Speak. The Sister Speak show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through the arts. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through Ayana. But you better call me Sister Speak. I want to welcome all of my first-time listeners, and I want to welcome back all of my faithful listeners, local, national, and international. I appreciate your downloads. I appreciate your shares. I appreciate everything that you do to support the Sister Speak Show Network. The song in the background is Kama Sutra by my sis, my dear sweet sis, Ali Frank. She also sings the intro to the Sister Speak Show. You can support her by going to her Instagram at Ali Frank Music, and you'll be blessed and glad that you went. That's my sis, okay? So treat her right and show your love and support. Brothers and sisters, tonight's episode on the Suspense Files is exactly what you see before you, in between the sheets. More than they could handle. Threesomes and sex parties that turn deadly. The dangers of defilement. To my first-time listeners, I want to welcome you, and I just want to get the formalities in and out. The Sister Speak Show Network is rated R for strong language, thoughts, and ideas. That's the first and last warning. You'll need two things when you listen to the Sister Speak Show. You will need water and scuba gear. Water for healing power. It's your gasoline. You can't go without gas. It is everything that you need in order to be able to be a warrior. Also, when you're listening to the Sister Speak Show, you will need scuba gear. Scuba gear is self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, because we dive deep, so deep, on the Sister Speak Show. And I want you to be able to keep up with us as we explore every conversation. And I want you to be able to open up and just allow your mind to have a different understanding about spirituality, and how tonight's episode is right on time. Right on time. So, we're going to go ahead and get started. I don't want you to be afraid of anything that is going to take place this evening. I have everything laid out for you, my brothers and sisters, in order for you to enjoy and to gain wisdom through the curriculum provided on tonight's episode. Tonight's episode is under the Fair Use Act of 1976, Section 107. This is for entertainment purposes. This is for educational purposes, to educate my brothers, my sisters, all shades of brown people, about the perils of defilement, and how lust can lead us into some trenches, and how lust can turn deadly, and it does. Okay? So if you're not mature enough to listen to this episode, you might as well click off, because we're going to keep going. I won't hold back any punches at all. I am pro-village. I'm pro healing. I'm pro encouragement. I'm pro humor. Okay? I'm pro warrior. I'm pro Most High God and Yah. So now that you know what's about to take place, once again, if you can't handle the title, if you can't handle anything that I'm going to say or that you may hear, this is your second and final opportunity to not listen. Okay? Because we're all grown, aren't we? I mean, you're not afraid of the suspense files, and I know you're not afraid of this episode, are you? I mean, you can handle it, can't you? I know you can. You know why? Because if you even stop by the Sister Speak Show Network, there's something about you that's bold, that's courageous, and that's grown. Now, I'm not going to say grown and sexy because that's part of the problem tonight. Being too grown and being too sexy in some cases. So, without further ado, my brothers and my sisters, we're going to go ahead and get into tonight's episode, In Between the Sheets. More than they can handle. Threesomes and sex parties that turn deadly. The dangers of defilement. Now, I don't know what level you're on when it comes to your energy, because this is all about energy and how when your energy is low and when your hormones are just all over the place, that you can end up committing murder, being in an entanglement or entanglements that are not for your higher good, your greater good. Going to a party for pleasure that can end in your death. How bad do you want it? How bad do you need it? And do you have any self-control? Because the news clips that I have for you all this evening, these people lost control. The ingredients in the environment created a calamity. It caused so many dangerous outcomes and deadly consequences. Oh, you'll get to hear the play. You'll get to hear everything. You know I got you, right? I'm Sister Speak. That says it within itself. So shout out to, before we even move any further, shout out to Cambodia, to United States, to Rwanda, Sierra Leone, to Tanzania, to, who else did I see? Oh, well, of course I said the United States, but to Washington, to California, to Georgia, Houston, Dallas. Y'all always showing me love. I really appreciate that. And to all the other Ethiopia. I think I mentioned Ethiopia, but I just want to send a shout out to you all. And everybody else that's listening, I really do appreciate you. So let's get into the suspense files, where we cover the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime. Who am I? I'm Sister Speak. Who are you? Oh, okay. Is it nice to meet you? We'll find out. I just got to see what your energy is about. See, back in the days, if you were fine, that's all that mattered. But fine can get you killed. And that's not what we're trying to have happen. But let's get into it. I'll be right back, excuse me, after these commercial breaks. Okay? Just hang on in there. I got you. All right, we'll be right back after these commercial breaks. You are listening to the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show. I'm your host, Sister Speak. It is 9/11. I need to be kept warm this evening. Oh my goodness, we're going to have a great time. We'll be right back. Heart is beating fast. He's out there again. You can see him from the stage. He's obsessed with you. That's why he's taking your pictures. You're his fantasy. The latest episode of the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak show is available on demand now, rated R for strong content, language, and thoughts. On this episode, fantasies and felonies. Strip club killers. On the Suspense Files, we cover the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime, including crimes of passion, deadly relationships, mysteries, urban cold cases, and more. Click the link for the latest episode of the Sister Speak show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action, a talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Be careful. Try not to fall in love with a stripper. Murder, mystery, intrigue, suspense, all of the elements that make up the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak show. And the latest episode is available on demand now. On this episode, Expelled, No One Will Tell, Murder in the Student Body. On the Suspense Files, we are covering the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime, from deadly relationships to urban cold cases and more. For all shades of brown people, this episode is rated R for strong language, thoughts, and ideas. It's time to click the link and podcast and chill with the Sister Speak show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action, a talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. If no one tells, someone may get away with murder. Are you going to let that happen? We'll see. Welcome back. You are listening to the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak show. I'm your host, Sister Speak. It is 9:14 p.m. I'm recording from Dallas, Texas. And it is very nice to be able to host this episode and to have you listen to this episode, no matter when you do. Listen to it on demand. Now, let's not be shy. Let's just get right into it, okay? That's what I'm talking about. Here we go. Brothers and sisters, the clip that I have for you is a serious clip, a succession of interesting stories that just really bring in the message about the dangers of defilement and how lust can lead us into some trenches, into some gutters, and into some situations where we can end up fighting for our life or losing our life, being entangled with someone or someones because we are so dedicated to this thing that is calling our name. And some people have a fantasy, some people have fantasies. That's your business, but you need to be careful when it comes to having vain imaginations, because we've been told to cast them down. Now, some men and some women desire to have a threesome. They desire to have what is known as a menage a trois, where you have three parties in the same bed, in fornicating, and doing whatever else they feel they need to do in that moment. Some people currently call it demon time. And that's pretty much what you would kind of consider it to be, because three people in the bed, that's a lot of energy. And threesomes don't end with you winning a prize pack, going home with $25,000 in a car. No, threesomes end in spiritual consequences. But people don't want to hear that. They just want to engage in receiving and giving quote unquote pleasure. And some people will even go so far to seek pleasure in a group setting and will have sex parties, power exchanges, if you will, where whatever your fantasy is, they will fulfill it. And it is enter at your own risk when you go to any type of sex party or power exchange, as well as when you enter into the bedroom with a third, fourth, fifth party. Someone is going to have emotions. Someone is going to become possessive. And because this is not the energy that was predestined for you to be in, oh my goodness, you're going to have a hard time getting out of that web that your lust was able to weave and lure you into. Being able to get a spider web off of you is a task. Walking into a spider web is something within itself. And you definitely don't want a spider crawling on you. And you definitely don't want to be bitten by a spider. But when you enter into the dangers of defilement, that's what happens. You do get bitten by a spider. The venom is poisonous. Poison, deadly, moving in slow. Okay? And so it may feel quote unquote good to you. It may be something that you feel is the zenith of a climax for you. You feel like you have reached the end all be all in this. But I'm telling you that when you hear these clips, that's not the case. At some point, we're going to have to deal with in the village are sex addictions, because sex addictions lead to criminal activity, can lead to criminal activity, and it leads to a perverse regimen of having to feed the beast because you're always erect. You're always feeling the need to get one off. You're always feeling the need to be penetrated. And so a human body or human bodies is just what you feel is the remedy for what you just got to have. And you will even go so far to even, as you know, to pleasure yourself, quote unquote, to just get it off. But have you ever considered, if you are one who in the village is craving or even participated in a threesome or a sex party, have you ever considered your cousin's self-control coming into the picture and kind of intervening and helping you whoop these addictions that lead you to the defilement and then put you in danger? Because you are in danger. I think many times men think they have more than one penis, or that they think their penis is just so Jurassic that everybody needs to experience it. Whether you're dealing with same sex or not, we're talking about the dangers of defilement. And because of these defiling acts, crimes have occurred and people have been murdered. And the spiritual death that occurs as a result is as drastic, because we're talking about you thinking that you're Solomon. I think many of you who have tapped into the word read about Solomon and lost your mind. You read that he had 700 this, and you read the entire story about him, King Solomon, and you felt the need to then let that be your lineage in this contemporary moment. You feel the need that you should have as many women as he did. The more, the merrier, so you say. But I say the more, the scarier. You want to be a polygamist. Excuse me. You want to be polyamorous. You feel you need to have 7 or 8 wives. Unhealed, unlearned, not wise, but you feel that 7 or 8 women in the home with you, that this will work, and that if you just apply it this way, that it could really benefit everybody. And to me, I say to you, you need to receive discernment about the Book of Solomon and why that word was even put out for us to read. There was a lesson. There were many lessons, many jewels in that. But in a low vibration, your lust is going to make you want to have more than what you can handle. Whether you have a 1-inch penis, a 30-inch penis, and some of you men right now are saying there are 30-inch penises out there. You just told on yourself. But some of you, regardless of the width, the girth of your genitalia, you feel that you can handle all these women. You feel like you can master all of these energies, and you can't. Or else you would have had a Siamese penis. You would have had more than one. And I know some of you still stuck on the 30-inch part, but just get past that and just deal with whatever it is, okay? There's somebody out there for you. There's somebody out there for you, okay? I'm just saying. And men with that type of girth, they have a hard time as well, pardon the pun, of being able to engage as well. It's a lot going on, okay? A lot going on. And when you do not master self-control, your penis, whatever inch it is, inch or inches it is, it will lead you to the dangers of defilement. And the same with a woman. For some reason, you feel that, being a third party and participating in, being the object of the man and the woman's affection sexually, if somehow that gives you some type of adrenaline rush and gives you a pseudo sense of confidence about yourself, but what it really does is just say, in totality, that I'm addicted to the smut. I'm addicted to the nasty shit. I don't give a fuck. I want it, and I want it now, and I want to have sex with 2 men at one time. I want to have 2 women and a man. I want to do that. Like, this is something that I've always wanted to do. You need to ask yourself, why is this something you've always wanted to do? And I don't know. It's not an option on the list. Why? You need to get down to the nitty gritty of it. But I'm not going to hold you any longer. I've said enough, because I'm ready to get into these clips for you all. Okay? Let's do this. Brothers and sisters, tonight on the Suspense Files, covering the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime. Between the sheets, more than they can handle. Threesomes and sex parties that turn deadly, the dangers of defilement. These clips are for educational purposes only under the Fair Use Act of 1976. Under the Fair Use Act of 1976. Okay? Let's get into it, and I'll see you on the other side of my recording. Now, when I talk a little slow, that's because I'm making sure everything's in cue. And it is. Okay, babies. Let's do this. Let's drink this water, and let's get this scuba gear on. I know some of you like, why are you talking to us like this? Because I can. You like my voice. All right, let's get into it. I'll see you on the other side of this. I think this is it. Please let me know. I hope I uploaded the right one. We're going to see in a second. If you hear a pause, that's because I have to go into the archives and get my clip.
A Norfolk couple accused of sex crimes against a woman.
We got it.
On rape, but did not certify the charge against his wife. The case against her is over.
And Stubbs will now go to trial. 10 on your side's Jason Marks talks to attorneys on both sides for reaction to the indictment. Jason.
And Anita, attorneys for both husband and wife say this is very strange. They were all in bed together, so how could the wife's charges be gone and the husband be headed for trial? Attorneys just don't understand.
I was ecstatic. I was thrilled for my client.
That was the reaction when attorney Eric Korsland found out his client, Monique Lynchmore, was not indicted by a Norfolk grand jury.
She has been through so much, and I believe in her innocence.
Prosecutors say Lynchmore met a woman on social media. August 4th, the woman went clubbing with Lynchmore and Lynchmore's husband, Syed Stubbs, and then went back to the couple's home. Prosecutors say the woman passed out and was raped by husband and wife. Both were charged, but when the case went before a grand jury, Lynchmore's charges were dropped. Stubbs, though, is now headed to trial.
Yes, I was extremely surprised.
Andy Protégero represents Stubbs. He says in his 32 years as an attorney, this is the first case he can remember where a grand jury returned a not true bill after a preliminary hearing.
They're all together. In fact, her charges were equivalent of his charges. And what makes it interesting is the only difference is he had male body parts and she didn't.
Defense attorneys say the sexual encounter was consensual.
I don't know how this could happen. I share Mr. Protégero's confusion. It's very perplexing.
Korsland says Lynchmore's glad that she's no longer facing charges, but at the same time, she's worried about her husband. His attorney's now ready to see about getting his charges dismissed, too.
It's shocking. It really makes you wonder in the end when they went to the grand jury, what did they say about the woman? What did they say about the man?
A trial date for Stubbs has not yet been set. He's facing several charges, including rape. Now, as you heard, his attorney, Andy Protégero, plans to file a motion to get those charges dismissed. In the newsroom, Jason Marks, 10 on your side.
Hello and welcome. You're watching One India News and I'm Pooja Sachdeva. Controversies refuse to die down for Jamaican star runner Usain Bolt. From the time he has accomplished his triple in Rio Olympics this year, he is making headlines for personal life daily. And now yet another shocking thing has been revealed by Usain's former girlfriend. American model Nyla Dillard has revealed that Usain once had suggested her to have a threesome, which she declined. She got candid about how he was desiring to have a threesome and his high sexual drive. Nyla also said that Usain had two-timed his long-time girlfriend Cassie Bennett with her. Nyla met the Olympic sprinter at an athletic gala in late 2013 and enjoyed a casual relationship with him for the next few years. She said that she had no idea he was in a relationship already with the First Lady Cassie Bennett until she read one of his interviews, after which she ended her relationship with him. Usain recently was pictured in bed with Brazilian JD before flying to London to continue his frolics with more women. That's all for now, but don't forget to click that button for more such updates. You are watching One in the News. Take care.
Manager, and he had an attraction for me for several months, and
without revealing her face, Kathy Monahan talks candidly about the worst time in her life.
And I finally conceded to having a sexual affair with him.
Monahan is suing her former employer, the El Dorado County Water Agency, and her former boss, William Hetland. She says Hetland pressured her into having sex, turned her into an alcoholic, then fired her.
I don't think it was my fault. No, it wasn't. But I've been made to feel that way.
The lawsuit says the sex, quote, occurred during working and non-working hours at various hotels in Rancho Cordova, Sacramento, South Lake Tahoe, and Sparks, Nevada. KCRA3 tried to speak with the agency about the lawsuit and what happened. No one would return our calls. Monahan says the sexual relationship got worse, at one point involving her husband and her boss in, quote, 4 sexual encounters, commonly referred to as threesomes.
By the grace of God, my husband is with me after 33 years, and he is staying with me.
The lawsuit goes on to say, quote, Hetland in use of alcohol, which he often provided.
Emotionally, I went down to the bottom real quick.
Her former boss was fired late last year.
Hello, is William Hetland here?
At Hetland's Folsom home, no one wanted to talk about the lawsuit. Now Monahan says she just wants to move on with life.
We've had our highs and lows, and this is definitely a low. 6 months from now, I probably will lose my house.
Monahan says she was forced to go to therapy by the agency and pay for it by herself. When she said she did return to work after graduating, she said she was fired the very next day. She's asking for that money in the lawsuit filed in federal court today and undisclosed damages because she says she was just months away from retiring. In Sacramento, I'm Richard Sharp, KCRA 319.
The wide receiver facing sexual assault charges will go to trial.
Quintez Cephas was in court today where his attorneys tried to dismiss the case. Amanda Quintana is live from the Dane County Courthouse with what happened during today's hearing. Amanda?
Yes, well, after arguing about what names to call the alleged victims in the courtroom and then whether the criminal complaint paints the full picture of what happened on that night in April, the judge decided there is probable cause to go to trial.
The state has met its burden and has shown to a level of probable cause that a felony was committed and that Mr. Cephas is the individual who probably committed that felony.
Badgers receiver Quintez Cephas will go to trial, facing second and third degree sexual assault charges, crimes that could put him in prison for 50 years. But his defense says the accounts of the two women accusing him of rape are unreliable.
Every fact is going to be hotly contested. And we think and believe that at the end of this case, when all the facts are known, that what we've said from the very beginning will be demonstrated, that all three people who were in that room that night knew exactly what they were doing.
His attorneys plan to argue that the women weren't drunk, saying surveillance footage from Cephas's apartment contradicts that.
She never needs assistance in walking. She climbs upstairs without any assistance. And she converses, as I previously indicated, with Mr. Cephas and has no difficulty standing.
Along with a text message from the other woman early the next morning asking for an item she might have left behind.
Demonstrates, and I think there is a singular meaning here, that she knew where she had been, she knew who she was with, that she had left something at his apartment, and that she was capable of sending a coherent text.
The state hoping to prove it doesn't matter how drunk they were, it's the fact that they were incapable of giving consent.
I'm innocent. I know the truth. They know the truth. And, I look forward to clearing my name and fighting for who I am.
Now, in that criminal complaint, his roommate and fellow football player, Danny Davis, says he thought the girls were drunk, so this might become an issue once we go to trial. Now, after court, we asked Cephas how he feels about going to trial, since this means he's going to probably miss the entire football season. And at that point in the interview, he decided to stop commenting and leave.
Amanda Quintana reporting tonight. Thank you, Amanda.
The three of them first met up.
Two people facing first-degree murder charges in the murder of Ada pastor David Evans. David's wife, Christy Evans, along with accomplice Khalil Square, found responsible.
The three of them, Christy, Khalil, and David, had a sexual relationship. Christy and Khalil also had a separate sexual relationship, just the two of them.
David was the pastor of Harmony Free Will Baptist Church in Ada. OSBI brought in to investigate on Monday after Christy called 911, reporting an intruder had come into their home and shot David.
She came back on her own accord yesterday to the Ada Police Department and confessed. So prior to that, she had been interviewed several times.
Court documents saying the couple first met Khalil months ago at a Super 8 motel. And Christy, David, and Khalil had sex at a Super 8 motel on more than one occasion. Christy secretly giving Khalil her phone number without David's knowledge. Then just last week, Khalil stayed over at Christy's house while David was away on a mission trip to Mexico. That's when the murder was planned.
The plan was for Khalil to come into the house in the middle of the night and shoot David with the gun and ammunition that actually belonged to David that Christy had given Khalil.
Neighbors giving investigators surveillance footage showing what was allegedly Khalil's white Mustang at the house the night of David's death. Christy sharing this post to her Facebook page on the day before the murder, saying David had sent her specialty-made necklaces while he was in Mexico. The post saying in part, "So every day I opened a card and was reminded of how blessed, loved, and lucky I am. I love you so much, David," but telling OSBI a different story, saying David would call her names like slut, fat, and ugly.
What she told agents was that he was verbally abusive and controlling of her.
David also sharing a post to Facebook on the morning before his death, saying, "Live your life so that people realize we are no longer dead, but are alive again." Harmony Free Will Baptist Church sending news for this statement, saying in part, "They have been taken by surprise and are greatly saddened." It went on to say, "We are aware that even pastors can succumb to human frailty."
We had a washer dryer at home.
This is a job for the double A.
Louisville man is accused of forcing a woman to have sex with multiple people more than 100 times.
Dennis Elliott was arrested this weekend. WLKY's Daniel Kemp is live outside of Metro Police headquarters with more on his charges. Daniel.
Rick, those charges are human trafficking and promoting prostitution. Police say the victim is only 23 years old and these crimes had been happening for months.
This is 34-year-old Dennis Elliott, and he's accused of forcing a woman to have sex with as many as 4 men at one time from January until May of this year.
Apparently, the victim of this case, and he had some type of a relationship that started maybe in September of last year.
If the victim refused, police say Elliott attacked her. We're told he would slap, strangle, and intimidate her, and sometimes even burn her with cigarettes. Police say Elliott was arrested at this home on East Kentucky Street, but that the crimes actually happened at several places across the county. And they say this case is a sign of a much bigger problem.
It's a big deal in the sense of what it entails of doing, and we are seeing increased cases of it.
According to the Kentucky Rescue and Restore Project, a resource for human trafficking victims, more than 100 cases of the crime have been identified across the state. Just a few months ago, the Catholic Charities of Louisville even set up on this street corner to raise awareness about the issue.
We've seen things like sexual bondage, sexual slavery of children, servile dowry marriage, and certainly forced prostitution and stripping involving children. So we know that it's happening, even in communities like those here in Kentucky, and it's happening in both urban and in rural areas.
As for Elliott's case, police say the victim sought the help of friends. We're told they contacted an advocacy group, which led to Elliott's arrest.
That's one of the good things in this case. A lot of times victims of these crimes do not come forward, and there's help for them there, and obviously getting us involved where we can get the people who are responsible for these acts against the victims.
Right now, it is unclear if there are more victims in Elliott's case, but police tell us this investigation is ongoing. We're live downtown tonight. I'm Daniel Kemp, WLKY News.
Thank you, Daniel. Now, Elliott was convicted of assault and unlawful imprisonment charges back in June. Court documents show he held his mother against her will at her home when she wouldn't give him money.
On shocking details tonight on an investigation by the Fort Wayne Police Department. Investigators tell us they've arrested a Fort Wayne man who had sex with multiple people and did not tell him he was HIV positive. 39-year-old Temujin Lapsley was arrested as part of an ongoing investigation. Detectives were initially investigating Lapsley for drug use and distribution, but later learned he tested positive for HIV 6 years ago while living in California. Police believe Lapsley engaged in sexual acts with at least 6 people without telling him about his condition. Because he signed a duty to warn in California, he is required by law to disclose his positive test. Police believe Lapsley also traveled to Indianapolis and participated in orgies with as many as 15 people at a time. Fort Wayne police strongly recommend anyone who has come in contact with Lapsley to get tested for HIV. If you know anything about Lapsley, call police. We have details about confidential testing at the county health department in this story on Wayne.com.
A local man in jail charged with sex trafficking. The victim says she was forced to have sex with more than 20 men. News 5's Cody Long has been reading through the arrest report, and he has more on the charges that the suspect is facing.
For the past 3 years, the victim said that man rarely let her leave the house, and now she's terrified what might happen if he gets out of jail. Deputies responded to a home in Cantonment to find the woman in tears. The man being charged is 50-year-old John Foster. He's accused of forcing the woman to sit naked and then perform sexual acts with more than 20 men while Foster was high on meth. After that, she said he forced her to bathe herself in bleach to clean up. And since 2016, the woman said she could only leave the house for short periods of time with a family member. Deputies detail in the report a mentally and physically abusive relationship between Foster and the woman. Foster is now charged with sex trafficking, sexual battery, false imprisonment, and 3 counts of battery, and he's being held here in the Escambia County Jail with no bond. Reporting in Pensacola, Cody Long, WKRG News 5.
If monogamy is not the answer for everybody. My name is Damon, and I am the founder of Sanctum.
So I want to let you guys know real quick that this is a sex party type, power exchange type place. So the reason why you're going to hear some music in between this clip is because you visually have to see it on YouTube. But that's what this is. He's Damon, and he is the owner, and he runs the House of Death, is what I call it. The House of Hell.
It's not about sex. Certainly there's a lot of sex here, and I love sex, and sex is beautiful. But it's not about sex. It's about a conversation about all of us as individuals and the freedom to explore this together, because sex is easy. People can buy that. It's easy. I want to bring this to as many cities as I can. I'm going to go slow. I'm in business now 5 years, and I'm now only beginning to step into New York. New York it's a little bit different group. It's similar in LA that we have a group of very impressive people, but here it's definitely people that fly in from around the world. I'm impressed by our membership. They are masters of the universe. And they're people who are designing the machines that we use, the cars, the computers. They make the movies that we watch. It's a highly curated crowd. Price point is part of that curation. It's not inexpensive to be here. Beauty has a lot to do with it. The aesthetics of the people that we allow into our club is very important to us. My fantasy is so simple. My fantasy, although no one will believe it, is true love. And I don't know how attainable that is, but I think that is the ultimate commodity. And if you can find your person and find someone that you can truly fall in love with, there's nothing better than that.
From Denver, this is Fox 31 News at 9:30.
They have all the shades drawn. It's glowing blue from the outside, from the street. At a certain point, they opened the windows and you could hear what was going on.
Neighbors say they have had enough after a homeowner in Castle Rock starts throwing sex parties. Thank you so much for joining us at 9:30. I'm Erica Gonzalez.
I'm Jeremy Hubbard. You heard her right. They said they called the police, and when that didn't do anything, they decided to contact the Fox 31 problem solvers. Tonight, Shaw Turner speaking to both sides of this controversy and joins us live tonight. Shaw?
Well, Jeremy, Fox 31 obtained this invitation inviting 400 people to a sex party on Avery Street, a quiet street here in Castle Rock. They call it the Big Playhouse. Now, neighbors say the next scheduled party, there's going to be a surprise. They're going to plan a block party to ward off any guests. But the host of these parties is standing his ground. Amber says she's had it with the parties going on at the house across the street.
And they all have sex with each other.
Her suspicions were confirmed by this party invitation sent to her anonymously by a concerned neighbor.
Absolutely shocked.
It boasts of a 7,500 square foot home turned playhouse with every amenity, including alcohol, food, even a chocolate fountain. We can't show you the rest of this risque invitation.
A lot of people who were exiting were drunk.
And they seem to come from every walk of life.
Some of them so old that they struggled walking up the stairs. He was all proud that he had 4 crock pots, showing up like they were going to a bunco party or something.
Donations are taken at the door, $70 for couples or single men, $20 for women. I'm calling in regard to complaints from neighbors about a sex club being operated in the neighborhood. The Fox 31 problem solvers found the party organizer. He does not want to reveal his identity, but invited us into the home's main party room.
There was significant harassment so far that I've received from the neighbors.
A father and husband himself. He says he understands the neighbors' concerns.
And there are no open areas that you can see from outside to have the children or anybody seeing something they shouldn't see or don't want to see.
But that's not enough for Amber.
You could hear people doing what they're doing in there. Nobody is going to stand for it.
Now, the host also tells Fox 31 that he's installed soundproofing in the house as well to make sure no one is disturbed by what is going on. Now, we asked Castle Rock Police. They are investigating this along with the HOA here and also the city. But they say at this point, he is well within the law the way he's doing this, so he can continue to have the parties unless it spills outside and is in the view of the public. By the way, 87 people have responded to this invitation to the Thunderstorm Playhouse. Shaw Turner reporting live from Castle Rock, Fox 31.
Never know what's going on behind closed doors, Shaw. Thank you. Right now in Louisville.
7 o'clock, we are hearing for the first time from the man who attended a sex party that may have led to murder.
Well, the young victim was found hours after that party, stuffed in a suitcase and thrown out in the trash downtown. Our attention reporter Steve Fiorina joins us live. And Steve, there were some stunning details that came out today.
And Steve, we were stunned, of course, when we found out about that young woman being killed and left inside a suitcase not much bigger than this one. Now, details about a fateful encounter between co-workers and strangers. Defendant Joshua Palmer couldn't watch as videos from his cell phone were played for the judge. Graphic videos from the night Shauna Haynes was murdered. Palmer told another employee at the spaghetti factory where they worked about his crush on Shauna and about the night of April 4th.
They were hanging out, partying, drinking and stuff, and then that they all had a foursome, and then that Chelsea and the other guy left, and so it's just him and Shauna.
The other guy testified too. He said he was drunk and walking home when he met Shauna, who invited him to an apartment where Palmer was inside talking to another woman. He said the women stripped and started kissing, so he started to join in.
I remember going over to the girls.
What happened next?
The other male in the room started repeatedly saying, "Get out, everyone get out, get out."
Was he angry?
It seemed like he was a little upset, yes.
No one saw Shauna alive again. Her nude and battered body was discovered in the alleyway behind the Chadwick Hotel, stuffed inside a suitcase alongside trash containers. Palmer called 911 to report her missing, and a detective became suspicious when he noticed red, swollen knuckles. Palmer was later arrested and could stand trial for murder with special circumstances. The district attorney could seek the death penalty. Other witnesses on the stand tomorrow. After that, Judge Louis Hanoyan will decide if this should go to trial. Live downtown, Steve Fiorina.
Has come face to face in court with the sex swingers who killed her millionaire husband. Details of Herman Rockefeller's sordid secret life and gruesome death emerged in a pre-sentence hearing for the confessed killers. 10's Ben Lewis joins us live now from the Supreme Court. So, Ben, how did Mrs. Rockefeller cope?
Mal, she spent most of today's hearing sitting with her arms crossed and looking towards the floor. She only wiped away a few tears during the more traumatic parts of the testimony that we heard. You can imagine she might not be particularly pleased with the suggested sentences from prosecutors. Manslaughter attracts a maximum sentence of 20 years jail in Victoria. Prosecutors in this case are seeking 8 to 10 years for Mario Schembri and 7 to 8 years for Bernadette Denny. Still, thanks to the couple's guilty pleas, there is some chance of closure and justice for the Rockefeller family. Vicky Rockefeller's first day at court was one of the most difficult imaginable, sitting through a graphic blow-by-blow account of her husband's death. 42-year-old Bernadette Denny and her 58-year-old partner Mario Schembri pleaded guilty to the manslaughter of Herman Rockefeller. They'd answered his ad in a swingers magazine, but he'd turned up at their Hadfield home alone. Schembri, a former rubbish tip manager, felt Mr. Rockefeller had taken him for a fool by not bringing a female, and told police things just got out of hand. They punched him and put his body in their car boot. Days later, as his family pleaded to help find him, Mr. Rockefeller's body was dismembered with a chainsaw and burnt. His wife, who'd been completely unaware of his secret double life, asked that her victim impact statement not be read in open court. Shembry's lawyer said his client had helped police, confessed early in the investigation, and was not a man of cunning. Denny described as an alcoholic who depended on her partner for approval. But Justice Terry Forrest said their actions after killing the 52-year-old were designed to conceal the crime with a callous indifference to the loved ones of the deceased. The court heard Shembry and Denny are still in love. With the security guards sitting between them, they stole fleeting glances at each other throughout the hearing.
Sometimes you don't know who you're sleeping with. Sometimes you don't even know what you're getting yourself into. All you know is that you have to have it, and you have to have it right now. The latest episode of the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show is available on demand now. On this episode, we're covering sex and murder, sleeping with the setup chick. Rated R for strong content and language. On the Suspense File, we cover the who, the what, the when, the where, and the why in urban crime. From crimes of passion, deadly relationships, mysteries, and urban cold cases, and more. You won't be disappointed. On the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action, a talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Click the link for the latest episode. And be careful. There are some gender reveals that reveal more than just the gender. They can reveal the agenda of a predator. The latest episode of the Suspense Files is available on demand now. The insanity that rocks the cradle. The pregnancy predator. On the Suspense Files, we're covering the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime, including crimes of passion, deadly relationships, mysteries, urban cold cases, and more. Click the link in the bio for the latest episode on the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. Rated R for strong content, thoughts, and ideas. Welcome back. You are listening to the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show, covering the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime. In between the sheets. You heard the clips. I didn't have to say too much. You listened to each one of the clips and you heard it for yourself. And you can't deny what you heard. If you choose to deny it, you will never vibrate high. You will always stay in filth, because a lot of what you heard was nothing but filth. Disgusting engagements that lead to nothing but temporary moments of pleasure, allegedly, and a lifetime of being haunted by succubus, incubus, and mare, Jezebel. Whoremonger spirit, whore spirit. And I don't care who you are, male or female, brother or sister, listen to me. You know where you are right now when it comes to your level of sexual awareness. You know what you like and what you don't like. However, some of the things that you like are based on unhealed wounds, trauma, being exposed to sex in a low vibrating, uneducated way. Because in totality, our community, the village, we're not as educated as we should be. That's not saying all, but we're just not in totality. And so because we are, a majority of us are sleeping with each other, we have to be concerned about the other half that is uneducated. Because we can't be educated and then be laying with somebody who is not. Now, bringing it on back, if you are in that low energy and you have not dealt with the sexual traumas that you have experienced, you may desire, and you probably do desire, things that are not good for you. And if you be honest, some of the engagements and the acts that you have participated in, you have felt nasty and have felt filthy after doing it. Sometimes immediately after doing it, you have felt a spirit of disgust come over you, because your soul knoweth right well at all times. And your soul knows that that energy that you engaged in was not for your greater good. Now, you may think that in the bedroom, 2 women in there with you is just the end-all be-all, that is the championship ring, that is the $1 million bag, and that is something that every man must desire as a rite of passage. But a rite of passage to where? Passage straight to hell, a passage straight to death, if you don't turn around, repent, and change what you desire and what you crave. And if you do not get into the ring and fight those sexual demons that would make you want to have a threesome, or have an orgy, or have a train run on you, or go to a power exchange or a building where any room you go into is a fantasy that is defiling, that is disgusting, that is sadistic, that deals with sodomy. And I remember, and I'll leave this person's name obviously anonymous, and I will say allegedly, even though this did happen, that this person had a high sexual vibration, had a low sexual vibration, and he craved sex 24/7, addicted to pornography, into some really strange categories of pornography, and his vibration was so low and the demon was so strong that he went to a power exchange. Now remember when I told you about the energies, and that when you engage with somebody in sex, that is energies being exchanged. It's power. And it's a lowercase power, but it's a power. And he went to the power exchange and said, allegedly, that there was so much semen on the wall that you had to literally make sure that your shoulders did not rub the wall. And that there were women in there, while their husbands watched them being, in a gangbang. That's not marriage. That's not anything that says I really care about you and our souls in the afterlife. I don't care. It's basically saying, so what about the account? It doesn't matter about the account that we have to give. We're going to do this because this temporary thing is what is driving me. It's what is my master. And so he was just saying that there were some things going on in these rooms that the human eye really could not handle to see. And I was literally, I felt like I had hair standing up on my skin just from what I heard. And I was like, in the back of my mind, why the fuck are you even there? But now with me knowing and growing, I know why he was there. And I want my brothers and my sisters not to go into these environments, because this is literally where the devil is. His agents, his energy, these type of environments are asking for you to basically give your soul up for these demons. Feed the beast. Feed the beast. That's what it is. If your fantasy is to have two women in a room, or to be, a third part in a third party situation, however you want to assign the genders, what you want is wrong. And I'm here to tell you that. I don't care if you get mad. I don't care if you say, nah, fuck that. I don't care what you're talking about. You should, because your penis is on fire. Your whole aspect of intimacy, the level of intimacy that your soul really is supposed to engage in, is far, far, far from coming into play. And you're missing out on what it means to literally be with one man, one woman. I know who has power and who doesn't. Just by bringing up this word, celibacy, bringing up this word, abstinence, the look on your face, the response, the energy lets me know that you're not even trying to even tap into self-control to where you don't end up in a bed that's on fire. Oh, my wife is cool with it. Oh, my husband's cool with it. At the beginning of the day, your wife and your husband suffer from low vibrating energy, sexual demons that are asking and suggesting that you feed them consistently. I personally want to make this statement now to any man interested in me. If that's the type of fuck shit that you're on, you can keep on walking, because I'm not the one for you. The answer is no, 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 and no. I am not interested in bringing another woman into the bed, because I was not created to be less than. I am enough. And a man who is vibrating high will recognize that and would never suggest to me or to any woman that he is genuinely interested in that she engage in any sexual activity that would lead her soul to defilement and damnation. And that's real talk. Some of you don't want to hear it, but those of you who are seeking to change and transform and to not be sexually uneducated and not to want, and those of you who don't want to be in between the sheets in the wrong way, but you want to be in between the sheets in the right way, you hear what I'm saying. You hear what I'm saying. No man, no woman who is genuinely interested in you, who wants to lay with you, spread your legs open and penetrate you, would ever ask of you to give up your energy in a disrespectful way. Would never ask you to share your energy with another man or another woman. He, in his right mind, in a high vibrating mind, would never want to share his woman's vagina with any other man or woman. That's a real man. A man who has done the work. A man who has healed. A man, no matter what he was born into, shaping into, said, I'm going to remove myself from what I learned, unlearn it. I'm going to seek the Most High in Yah and ask the Most High in Yah to teach me how to be in intimacy, how to be intimate, okay? How to approach intimacy. What is a healthy mind, a healthy sexual mind, how to control. He will seek the Lord for the taming of the beast. And he would never suggest, and she would never suggest, that a third party, fourth, fifth party come into the room. Would never suggest that we go across the street to the neighbor's house and engage in a party in a 7,500 square foot home where 400 or more people are in there. First of all, the smell, the defiling acts that were going on. All walks of life was the testimony of the neighbors who witnessed the defilement, who saw people going in, talking about old people, just all walks of life, in there, in the midst of hell, satisfying incubus, succubus, mare, satisfying the devil himself, and creating a cesspool of low vibrating energy. Disgusting. To even, you are trapped in so many swords when you want to go to or even host a sex party, swinging. Always missing though. Never ever hitting a grand slam, but you're always swinging, because this is what we want to do to keep the spice up in the relationship. If you want spice, get some hot sauce. If you want spice, get some pepper. And I'm not saying bring that into the bed. What I'm saying is, leave the spice for the food. Because your definition of spicy has got you over here getting ready to end up in the lake of fire. If you don't repent and turn around, you're going to end up in a fucked off situation. Excuse me, 400 people, they all aren't using condoms. Different type of, a lot of shit, a lot of fuck shit going on, literally, and it's disgusting. Okay? And you wouldn't even know that in your neighborhood there is some stuff like this going on, but it is. These sex parties turn deadly. This girl ended up in a suitcase. You could never make that make sense. The rage, the sexual rage that many men and women possess. 2 girls just seeking random guys off the streets. What's going on? There's no sense of danger anymore. No sense of danger, stranger danger, nothing. It's all, let's get into it and let's satisfy these beasts and feed these beasts. And you're not even considering the cost of what could this conclusion be? What could this jealousy, obsession, stalking, leaving your wife for the other woman, leaving your man, all of this questioning, am I a sodomite, am I not, all kind of stuff, and it's so dumb, and I have to say this is really dumb. It is ignorant, it is double standard, it is diabolical. It is nothing but a lie from the devil to keep you all from ever reaching a higher level in your thinking. You say that 2 men in the room with 1 woman is nasty when it comes to being, in a threesome. But then you say that there's nothing wrong with 2 women being in the room in a threesome. I want you to know that Yah says both have a judgment on them. And you better stop. You better pull back from that dumbass thinking that you've got going on. He did tell us not to lean to our own understanding. And you need to understand that I will continue to make the consequences be deadly until you turn around from your wicked way. Your wicked way leads to death. Your wicked way leads to prison time, a casket, STDs, domestic violence, defilement, blocked blessings, energies that you never expected coming into your home and wreaking havoc in your bed while you try to sleep, tormented in your sleep because of succubus, incubus, and mare. They don't give a damn about you. Do you not understand that lust is your enemy? Lust is not your friend. You cannot hold hands with lust. You cannot tongue kiss lust. You cannot get undressed in front of lust. Lust is not your friend. Lust is your enemy. Lust always has been. Lust rolls with the dark one. Lust works with the dark one. Lust has been luring people in since the beginning of time. An old school bait. Lust. Infatuation. Craving more than what you can handle. You think you can handle all of this, and you cannot, but you think you can. And so you suggest and you hint around that as a gift for Christmas, and shame on you for even celebrating Christmas, but you think that this Christmas, because you have been a good husband, that your wife or your husband should gift you with a third party. You're online looking for the third party. Because you have to have it. It has to have it, and it is using you to have it. You're being used, pimped. You're the hoe. As lust is a pimp, you're the hoe until you set yourself free. Ask for help. Cry out for help, because a threesome, a sex party, is death. Pornography is not your friend. It's not my friend, but it suggests that we be friends with it. And it also suggests that these acts that you see, you should live out. We have to cast down what we have seen, what we have learned, unlearn it. You should not be asking your wife for a third party, your husband for a third party. Some of you are covert swingers. You know, you hide it so well. Some of you are you sit in pews, you sit behind at your CEOs, whatever the status is. There is a secret sex life that some people have. And that secret sex life is making you thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. And if you don't know what I mean by thinner, you should go and watch Stephen King's Thinner, and you know what I mean. Go watch that movie, Thinner, Thinner. It's going to eat you because it's a curse from the inside out. Self-control is on our side. Excuse me. It's on our side. And self-control, it says, put your penis up. Put your vagina up. Self-control says, enough is enough. How much pussy, how much dick do you need? Have you not had enough? How many STDs have you contracted? The probability rate of contracting an STD is higher in these type of environments where threesomes, orgies, sex parties occur. I could never look at my man laying with another woman. I would never give that okay. when asking for threesomes turns deadly. That would be the topic for me, because that's not even, I don't even get off that energy where you can even think that you could ask me that. But you could just never suggest that for me. Sometimes you want to satisfy your husband in a way that will ruin the rest of your marriage. And the common problem with this whole trying to spice things up and with the threesomes is the fact that you feel that your sex life is boring. But let's just be real. One of the punishments that I do believe we have to encounter for having sex outside of marriage, for fornicating, is that because we didn't save all of what we were doing for that one, some of us, and we were out here doing all kind of freaky tales, when you get with someone, you're drained. Now you're tired. Now sex is not at the forefront because you've been out here wilding and profiling before you got married. Honest. And so it's not flavorful because we done tacked everything out before we said I do. And marriage is just not about sex either. And if people think that marriage is just about sex, you know nothing about marriage, and you shouldn't be telling people that. You shouldn't be blogging that, vlogging that, posting, podcasting false information. Stop spreading lies. Marriage is about building. Marriage is about praising the Most High God and Yah. Marriage is about being honorable. Marriage is about loyalty. Marriage teaches us so much, but unhealed, not pre-qualified, these type of suggestions may occur. How is it that you end up in a suitcase? How is it that because I am in a low vibrating energy that I end up laying with somebody who's HIV positive and he's not telling people, but he's in fact infecting people? Can you imagine? In a threesome, things get wild, you're inebriated, high, you've done things to kind of get yourself geared up for this moment of danger, and this person does not disclose some information that you need to know. And you end up contracting HIV, AIDS, gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, herpes, the human papillomavirus, aka genital warts, scabies, pubic lice, aka crabs. Syphilis has 4 stages. There are diseases that are outside of the country that are grotesque. The pictures will make you say, I'm cool. Well, they're supposed to. Is it worth it? Hiding inside of this human are these diseases. But all you want to do is fulfill the fantasy of a threesome, of an orgy. You want to swing. And you are not even aware of the diseases and the energy. And is this person possessed by a demon? And what will you walk away with besides a limp penis, besides a soaked vagina? What will you walk away with? What will you walk away with? What level of desire for a threesome do you have? Have you been in one? Will you repent? And will you not engage in that anymore? It's okay to repent. It's okay to say, you know what? Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. It's okay to do that. Most of you brothers don't know what it means to be a man. Most of us sisters don't know what it is to be a woman. And as long as society is influencing us, is suggesting to us how not to be, and telling us to forsake our soul from knowing right well, and to come on and go with me. Come on and go with me. That's what Satan is saying, like, come on and go with me. Come on over to my place. I don't feel like being alone tonight. I need some company. You look like you're bored and your spirits are running free. Listen to the lyrics and know what's really going on. We, in a low vibrating energy, can be susceptible to these sexual demons and suggestions, and out of nowhere be wondering why we're craving things that we have no business craving. People and doing things with people that we have no business thinking about or wanting to entertain. Some people pay $75,000 a year to go certain sexual power exchanges, sex parties. Even, I think, $1,700 a month just to be defiled and to do some of the nastiest things. These demons are taking over you, are in the room, are inside of you when you're engaging in these activities. Now, some of you will say, no, it ain't all that, but I really don't give a fuck what you say, because it is all that. It's all of that and then some. Don't you, as a brother and as a sister, want to vibrate high and overcome the sexual trauma and be sexually educated when it comes to yourself and your body? Don't you want to give yourself a fair shot at not being punished for fornicating and engaging in demonic sexual activity, being a sodomite? Do you understand that the Lord, if he chooses to, the Most High God, if he chooses to, can make you be barren in all aspects of your life until you get it, until you repent? He can send plagues to you as a result of engaging in the defilement. Don't play with him anymore. Don't play with him. Don't entertain these energies. You're going to have to pull yourself back. And if it means that you're going to have to pull yourself away from people who you know also possess these energies, then do so. There's nothing wrong with cleaning up the clutter and putting yourself in a position to where you don't end up on the suspense files and these news clips because you are out of hand sexually and you have no control over your vagina and your penis. And that's straight up. Because, ooh, she got that wet. Listen here. Some brothers have gotten wet up from trying to go and get that wet and from getting that wet. Some of y'all have gotten killed behind some wet. So let's not play this game today behind wet. She's thick, I gotta have it. Oh, he got a big this and that. Listen. Some of your best strokes you'll never have because you're not supposed to be doing what you're doing. and you're cheating yourself. You think you're laying it down. You think your dick game is so strong to the point to where 2 women need to be in the room with you. Cool it now. You got to slow it down. You got to cool it now. At this point, you need to quit. You got to stop thinking that you've got enough whatever to have third parties. And then when you have the threesome, you go and you brag about it because for some reason you think everybody needs to know. But you're not expecting the unexpected. And that's where the danger comes in. See, there comes a time where you have to pause before you drop your drawers. And you have to pull yourself back. And you have to say to yourself, I'm going to learn about my body. I'm going to learn about sex in a healthy way. And I'm going to wait. And I'm going to recharge. I'm going to gain my power. Because like I said before, no man, no woman who genuinely loves you, wants to see nothing but the best for you, and genuinely is a protector of you, a genuine protector, would never ask you to engage in a threesome, an orgy, swing, or go to a sex party. Never. It wouldn't even cross their mind. Because they would be so infatuated in a right way, so turned on, so engaged at this beautiful treasure that the Lord has blessed them with, that it's going to take more than a lifetime to just feel all over you, kiss all over you, love all over you, and continue to give and penetrate you. This is something that I'm going to have to take my time with, because this right here, I mean, what's the rush? You're mine. And when you know that your mate is faithful to you, and I mean, this is like real, because there are people who are faithful. The intimacy, it is something like none other. And I'm speaking about being married, of course. But when you know that your spouse is not cheating, and when your spouse loves you, you can feel it. Oh, you can feel it. They're going to make sure that you feel it. They're going to show you. They're going to take their time with you. I mean, it'll be 4-play, 5-play, 6-play, 7-play, 8-play, 9-play. I mean, on and on and on, from the stimulating conversation to the eye contact. Sensuality is a gift, and it's something that has to be learned and mastered in a right way. Because I would hate to have to pop all the way off because you think that we need to be in a third party situation. Because it already appears that you are in a third party situation. Where's she at? No, it's the devil that that's who you're in a threesome with. Because there's no way. Brothers and sisters, I'm serious about this. Threesomes are deadly spiritually. Vibrate higher than pornography. Vibrate higher than what society suggests that you should do. This whole free sex, free this, it's all this. No. That's a trap. You have to be very careful, because there are some amusement parks that are abandoned. You have to be very careful how you choose to play. Because, real talk, Being loose ain't where it's at. Having no walls ain't where it's at. And some of you brothers ain't got no walls on your balls either. Right. Yes, I said it. I'm serious. Some of y'all are loose. We have to go away with the double standards in the village. A hoe is a hoe, male or female. A slut is a slut, male or female. Whoremongers and whores. It's all filth to Yah. Yah's judgment on this, it's all filth. And he is not pleased, and he shows you that he's not pleased. And how much more mercy and grace are you expecting while you seek pleasure as he sits back and is displeased? I just want our village to vibrate high because I want my sisters to be married, my brothers to be married. I want marriages to last. I want intimacy to be true. I want intimacy to be righteous. I don't want my brothers and sisters going to prison, going to jail behind sexual rage, behind being sexually unbalanced. I don't want you to end up in a suitcase. I sure don't want you to end up in a sex party with 400 or more people. I don't want you getting skeeted on all over the place. I mean, you can't get mad at me because I don't want you to be skeeted on. Because I want you to actually have an opportunity to rise above your childhood trauma. I don't want your child molester to dominate your right to have pure sexual health, a healthy sexual life, to have to have a healthy outlook on sexuality, I don't want anything to impact the possibilities of you vibrating high. No child molester, okay? No past domestic situations, nothing. I don't want anything to hinder you from actually entering into a beautiful union with your true divine soulmate. These news clips tonight showed us what happens when we do not obey, when we decide to follow lust, when we allow incubus, succubus, and mare to dominate our entire existence. You're more than just your penis, brother. You're more than just your vagina, sister. When is the last time you went and got a checkup? A checkup is not holding a checkup in the air. When is the last time you got a pap smear? When is the last time you went for a physical? Are you the type that says, I don't use condoms, I don't like condoms, if you're suggesting condoms, I can't do it? Are you that type? Are you the type that's out here spreading diseases and you don't even know that you have it? But you are so wild and free, allegedly, that you are just sexually delinquent? What's going on with your life, brother, with your life, sister? You're more than just laying on your back. You're more than that. You need to know that. The time has been well spent. This is a different type of Suspense Files this evening. Real chill, right? Just an understanding. And the reason why I felt it was necessary to do this is for many reasons, but primarily with the season shifting and it getting colder and people starting to come back around and see if it's still cool. And some of you are leaving the door open and just whatever. I just feel like there's some pressure going on sexually in the village that does not need to happen. And some of you are feeling pressured sexually to engage in activities that you don't want to engage in. And some of you are actually engaging in them, but you don't really want to do it. But you don't want to make him mad or her mad. And I'm asking you, do you think that's how Yah wants you to live in the village as a part of the 12 tribes of Israel? Because he never designed it for it to be that way. Some of you brothers are sexually deviant with your wives and demand things from her that is not biblically righteous, and your woman is not there to satisfy your every need, if your every need is defilement, is defiling, is satanic, engages in sodomy, if what you are asking your wife to do is not what Yah is pleased with, you're in trouble. Your wife was not given to you to bust it open any time of the day and just to be wilding out. Now, I'm not saying that we can't get it on, but what we not going to do is have it be where I am the object. I am a noun, but I'm not a thing and I'm not a place. I am a person. So in that, if you are asking your wife or thinking that when you get a wife, she is there to be a whore for you, you're in trouble. You're not healed and you do not deserve a wife. I'm serious. Something is off in the village. Somebody's got to have it. A few people do. They want the threesome. They want to go to the orgy. They want to be a part of the sex party. They don't care about the dangers of defilement. Tick, tock. You never know when. You never know where. You don't even know how. It's going to happen. The moment where everything goes left. Where the energy shifts. When the tsunami comes in. When the volcano erupts. See, you want to erupt that semen. You want to be penetrated. But boy, let me tell you, ain't nothing like a volcano erupting. Can you handle the lava? There are some diseases that literally eat your penis away. There was a man's penis, the disease, I think it was granuloma. His entire penis looked like somebody threw a grenade at it. Never, ever, ever, ever able to use his penis again. It's over. It's a wrap. Now, some of you saying, oh, I ain't going out like that. But you're going out. It may not be like that, but it might be like this. That brother who was in the room with the two white women, white girls in college, it's something about, I just got to say this to the nations. Your daughters are loose as fuck. Your daughters are loose. A lot of your daughters, the 90%ers, your daughters are loose, and they keep coming after my brothers. Tell your daughters to leave my brothers alone, and I mean that. Tell your daughters to leave my brothers alone. Brothers, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you, but you need to leave them women alone. They don't belong to you. They don't belong to you. Love ain't love. I don't want to hear that bullshit. You can take yourself over there with your Lucky Charms and everything else that y'all want to do. I have to really say this. Y'all need to leave their women alone. Women, leave our brothers alone. There's enough of your men in your nations on your college campuses. If you feel the need to have a threesome, because I'm not your advocate, I'm just going to be real with you. You got enough of your own people to do whatever they need to do for your own groups. I'm telling you, you don't need to be coming after our brothers. There's enough of your men because your people have spent enough time putting my brothers behind bars and hunting our brothers. So just leave our brothers alone. The little few that we got left, leave them alone. Stick with yours. You don't need to have a threesome with our brothers. You do that defiling fuckery and all that shit in your own nation. And leave our brothers alone. That's just real shit. And our brothers, you know, how many more times do you need to keep going to court or keep going to casket behind these women? How many more times do you need to continue going to court and to casket behind these women? Some of you brothers, and I'm going to say this, I know this is going to just be real. Some of my brothers who have a darker hue, you're suffering, some of you suffer from low self-esteem because of your melanin. Some of you have not yet tapped into the confidence that you need to have with your dark skin. You hate your dark skin, some of you. And you're trying to throw it away. You're trying to assimilate or make or try to make up for what you feel is less than by going that way. And the reason is because some of our sisters keep teasing these brothers who are of a darker hue, and you keep pushing them away. And then when they go away, you get mad when they go away. You need to fix that shit and shut the fuck up and stop teasing these brothers about their melanin. Stop trying to push them out the village because they may be quote unquote too dark. What the fuck is that? What is too dark? Because when I think of too dark, I think of too fucking satanic. So what is too dark? All shades of brown people. All shades. How dare you say any man is too dark? You are going to really have to eat your words when that sky cracks. I'm telling you now. You're going to eat your words because you are sitting there making fun of Yah when you make fun of any brother who is of a darker hue. I'm on your fucking helmets today. This has totally shifted on the Suspense Files. Yes, it was a smooth vibe, but this is on my spirit to say because I'm tired of hearing sisters talk about these brothers going out here and being with these women. But when I look at some of the brothers who are of a darker hue, some of you keep teasing them right on out the village, and that's your fucking fault. That's why you're single. That's why it's rough for you. Because you tease in the village and you push in the village. Now, brothers, that doesn't even give you an excuse to go. You know, that doesn't give you an excuse to actually cross that line. But this is a problem because this man is sitting in a courtroom with the consequences of these two laying with these two girls and them saying rape allegedly. There's a lot of bullshit that goes on these college campuses. There's something about sending your women to my brother's way in the form of a threesome. It's like you always want to entertain this wild nature that's in these low vibrating energy of these brothers, and you send these women their way, and you brothers go. You need to really just cut your feet off. We've got to heal in the village when it comes to the color. And we have to heal in the village when it comes to our relationships. We are all over the place when it comes to how we're supposed to be. And then we want to go and then take our clothes off and spread our legs, become erect, and then engage in some stuff that leads to deadly consequences. Deadly consequences. Spiritual death. And we all miss out on the joys of laying with one man, laying with one woman. The joy of exploring. We are unhealed on many levels. Many levels. That's why it was more than they could handle. That's why it's more than you can handle. You heard the clips. I thank you all for being a divine, wonderful listening audience. I really want to suggest that whether you are a brother or a sister, and if you are single, you need to stop having sex. You need to be abstinent. You need to be celibate. If you're a virgin, all praises. If you're waiting until you get married, all praises. That's a beautiful thing. And congratulations to your strength and your power. And may you be blessed. May you be blessed. Congratulations to those who are healing, who have done the work, who can recognize that you were in a low vibrating sexual energy, but you have done the work and you've healed. And you are in a totally different energy field now with your understanding of sex. And you know that, engaging in threesomes, sex parties, orgies is just not the way to go. Congratulations to those who once were living in a defiling energy, but said, who have been redeemed because you've repented and said, I'm walked away from that life. To the marriages that were once engaging in low vibrating energies, but now you have said, you know what, we're wrong. We've turned our lives around and we are actually, coming against the workers of iniquity, and we cast down these strongholds, and we have nothing to do with incubus, succubus, and mare anymore. Congratulations. There are people who are healing. And you have to be recognized. No matter where you live, I hope this message resonates with you. If it did, and you're interested in donating to the channel, you can do it at my Cash App at Sister Speak 76 or my PayPal, The Sister Speak Show. I thank you, brothers and sisters, for being a wonderful listening audience. The time has been well spent. I gotta go do my thing, and I know you gotta go do yours. And it better not be that threesome. It better not be an orgy. It just better be a spiritual bath. Let's cleanse ourselves. If you really want to, get it off of you, you're going to have to take a lot of spiritual baths. But you can do it. But you need to cleanse yourself and get all of that smut and filth off of you. Get it out of your mind. Drink a lot of water. Clear your mind. Protect your energy field at all cost, because these demons are looking for a host. And sex is one of the main ways that they get energy when it comes to rituals. And a threesome is a ritual. Orgies are rituals. Swinging, that's a ritual. These power exchanges, these are all rituals. Know that. Okay? I thank you for being a wonderful listening audience tonight on the Suspense Files, covering the who, what, when, where, why, and urban crime, mystery, obsession, thrillers, whodunit, all of that, cold cases, the entire gamut of urban crime. Tonight's episode, Between the Sheets, more than they could handle. Threesomes and sex parties turn deadly. The dangers of defilement. Be careful. Okay? Be careful. Protect your energy. Put a condom on your soul. And take your time. Take your time. Take it nice. And you take it slow. Be careful. I don't want incubus, succubus, or mare to dominate you. You're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. Warriors, you know it's time to mount up. I'm enjoying conversing with you all, but like I said, I gotta go. What you mean you want me to stay? Stop. No, I'm just playing. That's that Janet Jackson. Anyway, brothers and sisters, I thank you so much for being a wonderful listening audience. Okay? We'll talk later. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. The Lord is my rock, my fortress and my deliverer, my God, my rock, in whom I take refuge, my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold. Blessed be the name of the Most High God and Yah. I'm divinely protected, and so is my listening audience. I return to center all negative energy, demonic energy, satanic energy, witchcraft, spell work, voodoo, all evil eyes. And it reverses into your bosom. I mirror it back unto you, and it has an adverse effect in your bosom immediately. No weapon formed against me or my listening audience shall prosper. Listening audience, you can do it. You can rise above the low vibrating sexual energy you're in. You can do it. You can do it. How? With Yah. That's how. The question is, do you want to be made whole? The question is, are you ready to take up your bed and walk? Or do you want to sleep in the casket permanently? Because threesomes and sex parties are deadly.